Alright, section 17, polls and margin of error. Okay, so you will be tested in your exam 3 about margin of error as well. Okay, so it's pretty much every section from this book you will be tested. Okay, so it's pretty much everything, right? Alright, so for this section 17, okay, I'm going to repeat the pages we're going to cover for this section, okay? On page 225, we do the discover part, okay? On page 226, we will do the entire page. Page 227, entire page. Page 228, the top part of this, okay? And then on page 229, we will do question 1, A, B, C, D. Okay, so that's it for section 17. Okay, so now let's go back to page 225. Okay, so fair polling. Okay, fair polling. Alright, since you have already read this through this part, but still I'm going to ask a volunteer to read this entire discover part so we can digest more about the material from this parts. Okay, so Evan, can you read?
Polls are used to gather information about population. Often population sizes are too large to ask every individual person, so a sample of the population is asked instead. Population in a poll refers to all the people or objects whose properties are of interest. The sample is a subset of the population used to represent population. When taking a poll, it is important to ensure that the sample is not biased, that is favoring one outcome over another. The more types of people that are included in the poll, the less likely it is to be biased. For example, if we were to take a poll about possibility of raising taxes, we should make sure to include people of all tax brackets, not just the top 1% of earners.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Alright, so in this grade table, we talk about two concepts, okay? Yeah, two definitions. The first one is about what? Population. Okay, how do we understand population? The population in the pool refers to what? All of the people or objects whose properties are of interest. Okay, so population means what? Everybody. Okay, everybody. Yeah, say for example in the next, in the example on the next page, and may ask for all of the American adults. Okay, blah blah blah. Okay, so population, when we talk about population, okay, it refers to all of the people, okay? Well, on the contrary, okay, contrary, sample is what? A subset, okay? It's not everybody, okay? So in order to study the population, in order to study all of the people or objects whose properties are of interest, okay? We are not able to study everybody, so we have to study what? A sample from this everybody, okay? So we can only study a sample, okay? Because population is too much. It's too huge, okay? It's too huge. So we can only study a sample, okay? A sample is a subset of the population used to represent what? The entire population. Okay, so we can only study a sample, okay, and then the conclusion we get from the sample will say blah blah about the population. Okay, later, okay, in the next 2 or 3 pages we'll talk about the sample population and how to use some sentence to describe the answer. Okay, well, in order to not be biased, okay, it's better to do what? Make sure what? The more types of people are included in the poll, the less likely it is what? Not biased, right? It is, less likely it is biased, right? So the more people in the sample, or the size of the sample is larger, the less biased it will be, right? Okay, so this is on page 225. We read through these two definitions. Population means all blah blah. Sample is just a subset of the population. Okay, so you understand these two definitions, right? Now let's turn to page 226. Okay, yeah, this is a question. Okay, polls and margin of error. Okay, so we talk about this solve internet use. Okay, I'm gonna ask volunteer to just read this paragraph. Kristen?
Nearly two-thirds, 63% of cell phone owners now use their phone to go online, according to a new survey by the Pew Research Center's Internet and American Life Project. We call them cell internet users and define them as anyone who uses their cell phone to access the internet or use email. Because 91% of all Americans now own a cell phone, this means that 57% of all American adults are cell phone internet users. The proportion of cell owners who use their phone to go online has doubled since 2009.
Okay, very good, thanks. Okay, so in this paragraph we talk about what? 63% of the cell phone owners, they've already have a cell phone. Okay, so for the cell phone owners, 63% of them are using their phone to go online. What is the percentage of Americans who are now having a cell phone, own a cell phone? 91% of Americans own a cell phone. Okay, then out of this 91%, American adults who has a cell phone, 63% of these cell phone owners use their phone to go online. Okay, this is idea from this, from this survey. Okay, all right. So let's try to answer these questions. Okay, as you can see, wow, these are the, the bar graphs. Okay, yeah, almost 2/3, 63%, 2/3. Okay, some owners go online using their phones. Okay, all right. So question 1: where did this poll come from? Is it fair? Where did this poll come from? Who did this poll? Who did this survey?
Pew.
Yeah, Pew Research Center. Okay, yeah, Pew Research Center. Okay, so I would say Pew. Okay, you answer Pew or Pew Research Center. Okay. Is this poll fair? How many of you guys know the Pew Research Center? Have you heard about this? You did? Okay, so what I was told is the Pew Research Center is a major polling company that does unbiased pollings. So I would say it is fair. Okay, it is fair. Okay, so this is question 1. Okay, so to answer these questions, what you need to do is to find what? From the given information, find it. Okay. Question 2: what population is represented by this poll? In other words, what is represented here? Population. What population is represented by this poll? When we talk about population, we talk about what? All, right? Remember from the previous page we talked about all. Okay. So we actually want to study who? All of the adult cell phone owners. So, all adult cell phone owners. We want to study among all of the adult cell phone owners, they're using their cell phone to go online, right? So population, okay, is all adult cell phone owners, okay? So if the question, in your exam, they're asking population, you better answer this keyword all, okay, all. Question 3, not every adult Americans was asked about using the internet on their phone. Studies like this take a sample, because what is the population for American adults? We have the entire population is 300 million something, I think. So yes. Like that's for everybody, okay, including the little children. But I mean for adults, we should have 18 years and older. We should have many millions of the, like hundreds of the millions of Americans. Are we able to do survey for each one of those people? No. So that's the reason we have to study by using what? A sample. Okay, so what is a sample and how big it is from this survey? What is the size of the sample? How many cell phone owners, adult cell phone owner did we survey? 2,076. Okay, we're not able to survey everybody. We want to study everybody, but we're not able to. So we're going to choose a sample with this 2,076 cell phone owners, adults, okay, as our sample size, okay? So I would say 2,076 people. Yeah. How big is your sample, say? This is how many of the people in the sample. You guys, for the first 3 questions? Alright, so let's answer more questions, okay? How many people out of the 2,076 cell phone owners polled said they use their cell phone to access internet? They're asking for how many people. And then out of this 2,076, do we know the percentage? We know the percentage. See, in this question, there are 3 percentage, okay? There is a 63%. There is a 91%. There is a 57%. Which percentage should we choose to do our current question? This 91% is people what? 91 of all Americans having a cell phone. Now in the question 4, it says, out of those people who has a cell phone, right? 63% of those people, cell phone owners, use their phone to go online, right? So which percentage should we use? Out of cell phone owners, right? 63%. Yeah, 63% of the cell phone owners use their phone to go online. Okay, so we would say 0.36 times by what? 2,076. Yeah, use your calculator and then get an answer, please. Do you get a 1308 people? Okay, yeah, so these many people in this sample use their cell phone to go online, okay? Question 5. Explain how the authors can conclude 57% of all American adults are cell phone internet users. Where does this 57 come from? We have a 91%, we have a 63%. Where does this 57% come from? All American adults.
91% of the population times 63%.
Yes. 91% of the all Americans having a cell phone. And out of these people who are having a cell phone, 63% they're using cell phone to do internet access, right? Yeah, access to internet. Okay, so this is how we get 0.91 times by 0.93 is approximately equals 0.57, which is 57% of all American adults are using cell phone to go online, okay, or are cell phone internet users. You guys, everybody? All right, question 6. Let's suppose another group of 2,076 American adults were asked the question, do you use your cell phone to go online? Would the percentage who said yes always be the same, always be 63%?
No.
No, right? Because you may choose this 2,076 are big cities, residents, say Chicago, you pull, okay, and then find 2,076 Americans, adults. Or in another sample, you may find those most rural areas, like another 2,076 people. They may answer the different, right? Not every time, they give us the same percentage, right? So I would say what? It could be, but it could always, it would vary, okay? So all you say, would you always get 63%? You can say no, okay? Well, not really, okay? Probably not. Some words like this, okay? Probably not, okay? Or you say it would vary because of the sample is different, okay? The answer, the percentage may be different, okay? Probably not. It will vary. Does it make sense, guys? Different samples, different people. They may answer different, right? Question 7. Suppose you could ask every American adult age 18 and older, this is the question. Okay, all or American adults, okay? Do you use your cell phone to go online? What is the percentage who said yes? Be exactly 63%? No, okay? So, similar question to the previous question, okay? A would also vary, okay? So it could be 63%, but it may be different, okay? So I would say A would vary, okay? Now we're having this question, okay? The idea that different samples of people polled will have different proportion of positive responses raises the question. What it seems, how close to the actual population proportion is the reported 63%? You understand this question we are talking about? We choose this group is total 63%. If we find another sample, it may tell us 62%. If we find another sample, it may give us 65%. Okay, so different samples give us different what? Yeah, different answers, okay, or different percentage, okay? But how about how close, okay, to the actual population? Actual population means what? Or American adults who are using, cell phone owners, okay? So how close to the actual population proportion is the reported 63%, okay? So that's the reason why we have to learn the margin of error, okay? So because not every time, to the same size of the sample give us 63%, there must be some margin of error, okay? So polls should report a margin of error because of the possible variation in responses from sample to sample, okay? The margin of error gives an approximation of how far off a sample's reported percentage might be. Okay, so not every time 63%, we must have a margin of error, okay? Yeah, that gives us how far off a sample reported percentage might be, okay? So, question 8, what is the margin of error reported in the Seoul Internet usage article above? What is the margin of error? Is it given? Find it.
Plus or minus 2.4.
Yes, okay. The margin of error for blah, 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 okay, is plus or minus 2.4 percentage point. Means what? Plus or minus 2.4%. Okay, so that means from this current sample, we have 63% of cell phone owners are cell internet users. And also the survey tells us there will be a plus or minus 2.4% what? Margin of error. Okay, and then margin of error is how far away, how far off, okay, for all Americans, okay, so try to approach all of Americans, okay, how about the percentage who, they're using internet, okay, cell phone internet, okay. Alright, so it is what? What is the answer for question 8? Plus or minus what? 2.4%, or you say plus or minus 2.4 percentage point, either way, okay. Alright, then we talk about what? Confidence interval, okay? I'm going to ask volunteer to read this 3-line paragraph and also including the gray box for us. Morgan?
The range of values found by adding and subtracting the margin of error is called the confidence interval. The confidence interval also allows us to make statements about the entire population and not just the sample surveyed. We use the margin of error, add and subtract from the sample percentage reported. Sample percentage minus margin of error, sample percentage plus margin of error. Note, make sure both values are either decimal or percent form before computing.
Okay, here we go, thanks, okay? So, by adding and subtracting the margin of error, okay, so we get two values, okay? So one value comes from the sample percentage, well in this question that it is 63%, right? Minus margin of error, which is what? Which is negative 2.4%, right? This gives us 1%. By 63%, adding the 2.4%, we get another value. So this range of the values found by adding and subtracting margin of error is called a confidence interval. Okay, so yes, this is idea for a confidence interval. And confidence interval allows us to make statement about what? The entire population. Okay, our aim is to study the entire population, but we cannot do survey for everybody, or the entire population, so we choose a sample. And from the sample, we also know what? Margin of error. Then use a sample percentage plus or minus the margin of error, give us a confidence interval. Then, by using the confidence interval, we are able to make statements about what? The entire population. Okay, so yeah, we're not done calculating yet, but this is idea, okay? Alright, so question 9. Calculate the confidence interval for the percentage of cell phone users who use their cell phone to access internet using the reported margin of error. So how to find a confidence interval? Use 63% minus by 2.4%, right? So see, I'm using percentage. So I'm using percentage. Some of you guys are using decimal numbers, okay? So you use 0.63 minus 0.024. You have to make sure that when we do the calculations, you have to use either percentage or use decimal form. You have to make them to be consistent. Okay, it's not 0.63 minus 2.4. No, it's 0.63 minus 0.024, or use 63% minus 2.4%. Okay, so I'm using the percentage for the margin for the confidence interval. So 63 minus 2.4 give us what? 61.6%. Adding give us what? 65.4%. Okay, so we will have the confidence interval. It's an interval with the lowest endpoint, 61.6%, and the highest endpoint is what? 65.4%. Okay, so it's an interval. Okay, your interval, yeah, we use like endpoints. Okay, so this is a confidence interval. Okay. Okay, so we covered the confidence interval, okay? But you don't have to write in the interval way. As long as you can get the values for the percentage interval, confidence interval, that's okay. Okay, that's okay. So we get these two numbers, okay? All right, our next question. Yeah, there's no next question, but this is also a conclusion for us, okay? So I'm going to ask another volunteer to read everything here on this page. Andrew?
The margin of error also has a level of certainty associated with it, often 95%. This means the same poll was repeated many times. We'd expect the outcome to be within the confidence interval 95% of the time. The level of certainty should be included in a statement that uses the confidence interval. Example, we are 95% confident that the true proportion of all cell owners that are cell internet users is between 60.6% and 65.4%. The margin of error for these polls can be approximated in a number of ways. Each includes the sample size as part of the computation. Remember, the more people that are polled, the more likely the results are to be representative of the whole population. In other words, the more people that are in the study, the smaller the margin of error.
Okay, very good. Okay, very good. So the conclusion is, after we get the margin confidence interval, if the question asks you, can you use a sentence to describe or interpret the conclusion? Okay, remember this. Okay, always remember this sentence. Okay, we're 95 confident. Okay, or we're 95 sure. Okay, so just use this sentence. Okay, there's a pattern of the sentence. We're 95% confident that the true proportion, okay, the true proportion for all, okay, cell phone owners that are cell internet users is between what? The confidence interval. Okay, so once we find the confidence interval, these values, okay, now we can get conclusion by what? For what? All population, okay, and we are always 95% confidence. Why? Because margin of error give us a level of certainty, okay. So most likely it's often 95%, okay. So we're using 95%, okay. So that means 95% that the true proportion for all cell phone owners that are cell internet user is between what? These two percentage, okay. I want you to also remember this, okay? Because there might be questions asking you, use a sentence to describe your confidence interval. How? Use this pattern of the sentence, all right? Now, guys, let's summarize the questions we have already done, okay? For the Seoul Internet Rules question, okay, you should be able to find this basic information from the given question, okay? Also, you have to understand what's the difference between the population and the sample. Population means all, blah, blah. Sample is just what? A subset of the population, okay? And then, for the margin of error, okay, most of the questions, margin of error is given to us, okay? So, we need to use margin of error to compute what? Confidence interval. How? By using the sample percent, subtract or plus the margin of error will give us confidence interval, okay? Once we get the confidence interval, be able to answer that question. We're 95% confident that, okay, blah, blah. For all population, okay, the percentage is between these values, all right? We're ready to do the other practice question on page 229. Have you tried this question yet or no? If not, I'm going to ask student to read the question and we'll try the questions together, okay? Whose turn? Leila?
The following is an excerpt from a Gallup poll conducted in June 2015. As Independence Day approaches, most in the U.S. say they are proud to be an American, including a slight majority, 54%, who are extremely proud. The percentage saying they are extremely proud is slightly lower than in recent years and down from peaks at and around 70% between 2002 and 2004 after 9/11. Results from this Gallup poll are based on telephone interviews conducted June 2nd to 7th, 2015, with a random sample of 1,527 adults aged 18 and older, living in all 50 U.S. states and the District of Columbia.
Can you also read all of the ABCD questions?
What is the population represented here? How big is the sample? If the margin of error is reported to be 2.6%, calculate the confidence interval for the proportion of Americans who are extremely proud to be an American. Can it be concluded most Americans are extremely proud to be an American using this poll?
Okay, very good, thanks. Okay, so we have already read the question and tried to answer the questions directly, okay? Question A. What is the population represented here? We talk about the population, we talk about everybody, right? All. Now in this survey, okay, what does this all of the people refers to? Did they say somewhere? All of the Americans, what? 18 and above. That's our population, okay? So I'm going to say all, okay, adult Americans, okay? Or you may answer all Americans aged 18 and above, or adult Americans, okay? We're not surveying for those children, okay? So we have to survey adult. How big is a sample? Is it given? Yeah, we want to survey for all of the adult Americans, but now we're not able to. So we're going to randomly sample of 1527 adults. So what is a sample size? 27. If the margin of error is reported to be 2.6%, compute the confidence interval for Americans who are extremely proud to be American. So this survey was done in 2015, right? 2015. There are two percentage in the question, 54% and 74%. Which percentage should we use? Are we using 70%? No. because we're talking about in 2015, right? So this survey was done in June 2015. The current percentage for Americans, okay, adult Americans are, to be extremely proud to be American is what? Only 54%. This one is distracting you, okay? 70% was the older percentage. It was peaks at 70% between 2002 and 2004. Now it's down to what? 54% in 2015. So which percentage should we use as our sample percent? 54%, not 70. Okay? So find the confidence interval. How? 54% minus what? 2.6. 54% plus what? 2.6. So the subtraction gives us what? 51.4%, and then addition gives us what? 56.6%. The question is not asking you to use a sentence, okay, to describe the confidence interval. Now I'm adding the question for you, so you're gonna answer me, orally. Can you use a brief sentence to describe the meaning of the confidence interval? How to use a sentence to describe? We say what? We are 95% confident that, okay, the actual proportion of all American adults, okay, who are extremely proud to be an American is what? From 51.4% to what? 56.6%. Okay? If they're asking you to use a sentence, use that 95% sentence. Okay? If they're not asking you, you don't have to worry about it. Okay? Alright, last question. Can it be concluded that most Americans are extremely proud to be an American using this pool? Can we see that? The answer for the question vary. Some of you guys may say yes, because 51.4%, 56.6% is over 50. So you may say yes. But some students may say, what does most mean? Is 50% most? So some of you guys may say, oh, only like a 70, 80%, like 90%, that's considered to be most. So you may answer no. So I would say the answer of the question is vary. You may answer whatever you feel, like say yes, okay? Or you may say no, because you don't think 50% is the majority, well, it's the most, okay? So the understanding from each people is different, okay? Well, the answer from the book is yes. It says technically yes, okay? Because both of these two values, they are greater than 50. So you can answer yes. Or some of you guys say, oh, my understanding most of Americans means like at least 80% or something like, that means most. Then you can say no. So it doesn't matter, okay? So there's no fixed answer for question D, okay? Alright, so this is a margin of error section.